Joe Mixon or Cam Akers. So Mixon's going to be like 14.4 in the captain, 9.6 in the flex. 9.6 is also going to be the price tag for Akers in the captain spot. And then you could also save more than $3,000 here and get him in the flex for $6,400. Steve, what do you want to do here? Akers, the workload, we mentioned it on the Sunday show. His workload's been there, but the production, not necessarily.
Yeah, and that continued again against the 49ers. He was a little bit better than we've seen in the past. I mean, he had 48 yards, which is what he had the week before, but, he did it on, about 10 less carries. So that was a lot more efficient than we've seen before. The only problem is that Akers doesn't really get a ton of work out of the backfield. He has maybe 1 or 2 targets since he's come back here, whereas Mixon has been getting those targets more consistently. I think he had 3 last week against the Chiefs. Yeah, he had 3 last week against the Chiefs. That's been something they've been using him a lot more in. If I'm being totally honest, I'm not really crazy about using either of these guys in my lineup here. I think I want to go pretty heavy on these pass catchers. So I'm not really looking to take either of these guys, but I would say whatever lineup you're building that team for, then you want to be using, that team's running back in that sense. I don't think either of these guys are going to be overly productive in these matchups. So pretty tough run defenses on both sides. So I would say if you're making a lineup, I'm not crazy about either, but I would take Mixon because he has more upside in the PPR scoring.
All right, Matty, Mixon or Akers?
So I agree with Steve that I don't love these guys for their prices. I mean, Mixon is in the same pricing tier as Kupp, Chase, Burrow, Stafford, and then Akers is a lot less expensive, but we do have to worry about Sony Michel taking a lot of his work. But at the same time, I think these two guys will be actually very contrarian plays, and Joe Mixon might be my favorite captain for the Super Bowl because I think no one is doing that. I mean, you look at this game, it's clearly a matchup of quarterbacks and star receivers and all of that. I think a lot of people will want to have one of those top 4 guys as the captain in their lineup, and Mixon just doesn't feel right. The Bengals are underdogs. I think even though it sounds like a lot of people want the Bengals to win, I think most people ultimately are expecting the Rams to win. And the situation where Mixon performs the best is one where the Bengals have the lead. So even though I think the Rams are going to win, I think it's likely enough the Bengals are in the game that Mixon does have a good chance for an upside game. And it just doesn't seem like an outcome anyone's playing for. So, yeah, Mixon is really good running back, gets the ball near the goal line, like all the things you want. It's just he's a little expensive. So despite that, I still want to play him.
All right, Pearce, is Mixon a no-brainer here over Akers?
I wouldn't say it's a no-brainer. I think Steve's right that I would rather not roster either one of these guys, but to Matt's point, that's probably going to be the popular sentiment, and so no one's going to play Mixon, especially as a captain, and we know he's going to get goal line carries. We know that Cincinnati is committed to the run. They were down 21 points last week. They didn't abandon the run. Also, to Steve's point, they will get the ball to him out of the backfield. They set up these screen passes as a part of their game plan, especially if there's going to be a strong pass rush coming at them. You would expect some draws and some running back passes to him and Samaje Perine. So I'd also consider Perine too, pairing him with him or even putting Perine in the captain spot.